Hey, this is Jasmine. Have you ever wanted to know what is the latest and greatest of businesses, entrepreneurs, musicians, and artists around the world? Have you ever wondered, why did they make that choice, where they're going, and how can I support them? Well, you come to the right place. If you haven't heard already, I have some amazing guests all the way from Africa and as close as Texas, where I live. Check out Noise Zion podcast on Spreaker, Spotify, Apple, iHeart, and 30 plus other platforms. Today's guest is Chelsea Elliott, organizer of Sōmōcom Lab. She shares her story of overcoming a mental challenge that dealt with since childhood and created a game to help families normalize the conversation around emotions. Topics of discussion: emotional intelligence, mental health, parenting, motherhood, journaling, and gratitude. Please give a warm welcome to ever-blessed Chelsea Elliott. Hello, Chelsea.
Hi.
Someone referred me to you and I was thinking, this is so inspiring, like what you're doing. So it's just like, I love that because I'm so humble in what I do. I love to see other people grow. And that, to me, it's like a win-win because I get to see that like flourish and bloom in front of my eyes and I'm partaking in it. So it's like, oh my God, I feel so good.
Oh my gosh, I love it. Oh, I just love it. I hope you interview yourself because
my gosh, yeah. We can go and dive right in and get this party started. Let's do it. So I'm completely like open for whatever you want because it's all about you, girl. So it's
whatever you think is best. That sounds great.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Sōmōcom Lab. I signed up for that. And
oh, did you?
Yes, because I thought that was like an awesome organization that you have. Tell me more about that and share a little bit about how that all started for you.
Yeah, so Sōmōcom Lab, it stands for Social and Emotional Communication. So, we're coming up with funky, cool names now because all the other names are taken. So, but it's something that I think is missing in a lot of families and a lot of especially COVID brought out a lot of things it brought out a lot of vulnerability in people that they did not really want to face before. And so being able to communicate better with kids is something that I think is huge right now. They're going through a lot. We're going through a lot. They're seeing and experiencing things that other generations haven't had to deal with before. And even outside of that, I think that a lot of families' communication could be better. So all of my education and my background is in working with kids. And I've always said, I need to work with the families because I could do all this work with the kids, in whatever environment we're in together, but they're going to go home to their family and that's who they're going to grow with and who they're going to really pick things up from. So Sōmōcom Lab is all about making social and emotional learning fun, helping to build stronger communication between families, between educators and kids, and then giving kids a voice. I always feel like I am their voice in this moment, but I'm also giving them a voice. I'm trying to help them develop that vocabulary. So I created a game called the EQ Kids Crew to help give them the words for their feelings and emotions. It gives them a definition. They get to act it out and do different things with it and then learn about a coping strategy for whatever that emotion is. And so just a fun way for kids to learn emotional intelligence, behavior regulation, all those fun things with their families or in the classroom.
Yeah, that is amazing because, and I can hear in the background, she's got a voice on her. So
she does.
So you're giving your child a voice, and I love it. She's sounds so precious in the background.
Thank you.
I love it. So, yeah, because I have, and my 9-year-old is a SPD child. So if you don't know what that is, it's a sensory processing disorder child. He falls on the autism spectrum and very vocal. When he was doing his IEP and when he was doing the 504 plan, there was a lot of things that part of that was the emotional disorders or emotional behavior issues. And I love that you have something that parents and teachers can go to. And that is such a passionate, chosen field for someone. So, like, when did you first become passionate about this field?
Oh, gosh, I have always loved children. The very first child outside of my siblings that I babysat, it's a little boy. He's now 21 and he has Down syndrome. And we didn't really think anything of it. We just taught him different things. We introduced him to our pets and just loved on him and helped him, grow and develop. And it was just something that I absolutely loved to do. I loved helping his mom and, just being a support for someone else while watching this super awesome kid. And so as I was going through school, I always wanted to do something around psychology. But then I found social work and I was like, oh, this is perfect. Like, this is exactly what I wanted to do. So I'm so grateful that I was able to work in social work, because that was definitely the path that I needed.
Wow. So did you get your BSW?
I have my MSW in macro
MSW. Wow. Wow. Congratulations. Yeah. That is awesome.
Thank you.
So like you mentioned, you created a game to help families normalize the conversation around emotions. Now, can you tell me exactly, did this start around the time that you were, like you just mentioned, the wonderful child friend that you had gotten a good relationship with back in your time years ago? Is this something that came out of that, or did that come around the time that you started into motherhood or parenting, or how did this all begin, this game that you created? Like, I love that, because I was looking at it like, I would definitely do that.
Yeah, so it's a compilation of decades of mental health challenges and struggles and my love of children. So it's just been years in the making, but I have a 5-year-old and I wrote a book for her. I was writing a book series for her. So there are 2 books in the series so far. And before I finished the second book, they're on emotions about her. So the first one is Natalie, the Monster Slayer. It talks about fear, being brave, being courageous. So being brave when you're afraid, understanding what those feel like in your body, what it might look like in your body. And then, saying it's okay to be scared. I can still be brave in this. And so I wrote that book for her. And that was last year, like last October. Huh. And in January, I had this vision of a game and I was like, have I seen this somewhere? Like, why is this in my head? Where is this coming from? So I was Googling and on Amazon and like looking for this game. I'm like, I haven't seen this anywhere. So let me just get this out of my head. So I created this out of my brain and it was like, oh, this is a real game. And that's how it came about. And within like a month, I had a prototype of it. And then someone gave me a suggestion, like, oh, you're going to need a boy version, because it was just about my daughter. And I was like, I'm not making a different version for all the variations of kids. And I came up with this diverse group of kids called the EQ Kids Crew, who represent a whole wide range of children. I have some disabled children, I have a non-binary child, just different kids, so that they can see themselves in this game. And other children can also have empathy for kids who don't look like them. So it really began because of my children, but it also, like, my why, the reason that I really came up with all of this is because I didn't have that emotional support when I was younger. And we had a really big move when I was a little kid and nobody really talked to us about it. And so now I feel like I'm avenging my younger self. She's able to go out and tell people, because, we all still have our younger selves in us. Mm-hmm. My younger self is still able to go out and say to adults, hey, this isn't fair. The way that you're treating this child isn't fair. And there's a different way to do it. So let's work on that. And it's been very wonderful. The response has been so great. The game is on pre-order right now, but I've had different interviews and been able to talk to different people about it. And the response has been amazing. And the best part about that is knowing that people want to change for their kids. They want children to have a voice. They don't want to see it as them talking back, but as them advocating for themselves. Mm-hmm. And they want to release themselves of the ego that holds them back from letting their children be who they're supposed to be already. So that is the most exciting part for me. But this is really just decades in the making. Really.
Wow.
The combination of this everything. Thank you.
Yes. I am like super kudos for you to even have the opportunity to even do and create something that seems like in dire need of society and the children that we have here in, the States, as well as to even have the thought of this could be a universal opportunity. And I bet it probably is in the works for that. So that I am so excited to see that come out and come to where, it'll be in every home. That's the whole goal, right? So,
yeah.
And next, the next generation would have, thanks to Chelsea, to have a game that is beneficial for their emotional well-being and understanding about their she's so cute.
She's saying I love you.
Oh, te amo. Just the thought of having kids to understand and feel comfortable about their emotions, that it is okay to be angry. It's okay to, be sad. But how do you go around and using it constructively or using it towards a beneficial way without hurting yourself or hurting other people? So, this is going to be amazing. I'm all for it. I definitely think that it should be highly recommended for all families with children. And there's even people who are adults who might benefit from it as well. That'd be pretty cool if you actually had an adult version.
I know somebody asked for a dating version. I was like, well, really the only thing that's for kids about it are the little characters on it, but everybody can benefit from learning their emotions. So I got permission from the creator of the Feelings Wheel, which is, I know a lot of people haven't seen it before, but I've been using it forever. But it's a wheel that has 130 emotions on it in 3 levels. And so I created kid-friendly definitions for all of those emotions. But the family version of the game just has the first 2 levels. So it's just 48 of those and not all 130 because I didn't want it to get too big and overwhelming. But it's for everybody. It's for everybody.
That's awesome. It should be like ages between 3 to 95. I think they even have, you know what I'm saying? Because it's for everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. That is beautiful. I love it. I'm so excited for you. And I'm like, I just met you and this is amazing information to I just want to get you out there. It's so exciting to even have, this is an opportunity for other people to just share and listen and say, oh my gosh, wow, Chelsea, you go, girl. So, and I believe that you had mentioned on your guest forum that you had some of the reasons, and I believe it's kind of a root to everything, is that our mental challenges that we have in our lives as a child. And everybody's had a little tidbit of here and there from 1 scale to 1,000. You said you yourself has overcome mental challenges that you dealt with since childhood. So how did you overcome these challenges?
So I am a huge believer in therapy. I did a lot. I was on medication for a long time. And when I found out that I was pregnant with my oldest daughter, I wanted to get off the medication just for myself and really work on what was going on with me. So I started gratitude journaling and saying a lot of affirmations and just trying to do more mental work for myself. And that completely, I had some real deep issues, had a lot of depression, anxiety since I was a little kid, suicidal ideation, eating disorders, all kinds of stuff. And that broke me from a lot of it. Like I still have my moments, but it's not like I'm literally relearning myself because my brain doesn't go to that extreme anymore. So I have to balance out like, oh, I don't feel that bad, but I still need to take care of this before it gets to that point. So it's been, again, decades of dealing with this stuff and then finally saying, you know what, you have to work on this. You can do it. And you really can do it. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of mental work, and then mental work can be very exhausting.
It's unraveling. Something that it's like a package given to you that's been put in a box, within a box, like a prank, like a little prank joke. And you're the one that's supposed to unduct tape this and go through the multiple boxes to find the true gift that was given to you. It takes a process, and we're all in different levels of unraveling who our true self is, because we've been boxed in with all these different types of levels of how we were raised, what type of circumstances of environment, who our siblings were, how our parents treated us, what kind of society we were brought up in, our culture, our diversity, our ethnicity takes a toll on our statistics of whether we're going to be in jail or if we're going to be successful or whichever. I mean, the constant unraveling of this gift that was given to us is just time consuming, to the point where some people just give up in the middle of it. And, they're in their 50s and 60s and 70s, and they're still fumbling that gift, trying to figure out, is there even something in there? Or is this like a big old prank that someone's like going to say, ha ha, good luck figuring it all out? Because it's so emotionally stressful for us to go through and try to recondition ourselves to say we are worth something. We are beautiful. We are strong. We are worth it. And so if someone constantly telling us the complete opposite, we have to break all those codes, break all that toxicity that has been embedded and it's been almost considered a normalized way of living. Believe me, girl, I'm talking from true facts because I'm still working with it. I love to meet other women, specifically women of color, to shine that beautiful gemstone of their soul and their life and journey to me as well, because it's like, it's not just me has gone through that. And we use our chaotic turmoil, what you call tumultuous life, and we create it into a beautiful Garden of Eden, in a sense. That's how women are. Women are built to make into fertilizer. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And then grow absolutely amazing trees or flowers or whatever needs to grow in that. We've made gardens out of the absolute hell that we've been through.
Oh, of course. Yeah. Of course.
Yeah.
So that's just
I want to hug you. Like, there we go. Like, oh my gosh, thank you so much for sharing all of that. Like,
oh no, it's okay.
And that self-awareness requires a vulnerability that so many people refuse to go through because they don't want to be seen as weak, and they don't want people to see them as a victim or as a failure. But none of that is true. None of it's true at all. Victims should never be blamed for the things that they have been put through themselves. I do hold people accountable for their healing and for what they do with the situations that they've been in. But you are not at all at fault for anything that happened, period. I don't care what you did that made them want to do. No, you are not at fault. No victim is at fault for what happens to them. But they are definitely accountable for the healing that they have to go through in order to be a whole person again.
Absolutely.
I will say the forgiveness piece, that's a tough one, because forgiveness it's not even about the other person. They don't ever have to know that you've forgiven them, but it's to clear your heart and make room for other things and other people that deserve to be in there. Because when we are unforgiving, and I've had to deal with this too, when we're unforgiving, we hold that grudge so tightly that other bonds can't be made in there because something is just blocking it. So we got to release that stuff at our own pace, on our own time, but just know it's not even about them. It's about you and you being able to truly move on, because you can move forward, but if you can't move on, you will always be bound to that. You will always have that blocking. So just remember that forgiveness it's not for them at all. It's all about you.
Yeah, that's exactly what we're talking about too. So that is spot on. So speaking about, because I think I want to roll this into my question, because I think this is a perfect moment to do this. What's the most courageous thing you've ever done?
The most courageous thing I've ever done. Oh, there's so many, but I will say, the most courageous thing I think I've ever done is going to grad school, because I moved to Massachusetts with my then boyfriend, now husband of 7 years. And we had just started dating earlier that year.
Oh, wow.
We had just started dating. Like, we talked a little bit the year before that, and then we lost contact and connection. And then he came back and I was like, I just got this letter, like a month later, I think. I got this letter saying I got into grad school in Boston and we live in Ohio, but I'm leaving. I told you this when I met you. I'm not staying in Ohio. Here we are back in Ohio. But I said, I'm going to Boston. He was like, well, I guess I'm coming with you. I'm like, we've been dating for a month, but okay. So we planned everything out. We saved our money and he and I drove a truck with my car hitched to the back to Massachusetts. And it was just us.
Yeah.
That was the craziest thing.
Yeah. It's like now or never, y'all. Now or never. That's how I felt about Wisconsin. Like, I will not leave this place unless I literally jump in and just do it. That's exactly what you have to do sometimes. It is scary because if you're so used to being in one spot, it becomes comfortable, so that is cool. That is a pretty amazing thing. Yeah. And so far so good. And then you went back to Ohio.
Yes, we're back in Ohio. Well, so I was 50 miles away from my family. He lived in the same town with his family. And then we moved 900 miles away. So it was hard to come back, to visit and for holidays and all that. So I was like, okay, as soon as I graduate, we got to go. So 2 days after I graduated, we were on the road back to Ohio.
That is so interesting. Well, at least you have a partner in crime. Your boyfriend, who is now a husband of 7 years. That is golden for sure. Yeah. We learned
a lot about each other, about how we work together. Like, if anything goes wrong or happens, we know exactly where, like, I know my part, it's his part. We just do the thing and we're good to go. But it was courageous because I was going to grad school. I had no clue what I was going for. I had no clue why I was there. I did not have a plan for when I graduated. And then I'm out here with this guy that I just started dating. And I'm like, why, Lord? What am I doing? What is happening?
It was all written before you knew it.
It was perfect.
See?
Perfect.
Exactly. You were on the right track.
Yeah.
So one last question, and I know you and your daughter will enjoy to hear this beautiful answer. What is the single most important talent would you like your daughter to have?
The single most important talent I would like my daughter to have, both of my daughters to have, is always knowing their feelings, always knowing their emotions. And just emotional intelligence as a whole, being able to understand them in other people and in themselves. Because if you can do that, you can navigate any situation, you can work with anybody at any point in time, and you can get through your challenges a lot better. So I thought on that question pretty hard, and I was like, that's really what it is. Like, I legit just want them to be the most emotionally intelligent people in the whole entire world.
Yeah,
that's it.
That's all we want. I mean, the most simplest things that we want for our children. And that's it. We don't ask for much. I mean, as a mother, like, we'll make sure they have 5 fingers and 5 toes on each hand and each foot. And then this, so we're good. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And if they don't have all their fingers and toes, no problem. I just want them to navigate life with what they got. But knowing their emotions, I always said, like, my daughter couldn't read or write. She's going to know how she feels. I always said that. And I mean that wholeheartedly. Like, you will know how you feel. Exactly. Even if you can't spell your name. She can do all that stuff. But still.
Well, that's great. I mean, that's all around well-rounded child. And it's just be an honor to be having a mother like yourself, just raising beautiful children like that with that goal and that ideal and the passion that you have and the importance of having the emotional stability and stuff like in this world that we have. It's just chaotic, and we need that. Yeah. We need that reinforcement of our children to have such good qualities coming into this environment, society. It's just, yeah.
And talking about the world that we live in, like, I feel like kids get a lot of crap for the stuff that they do and the things that they're into and how they respond to technology and the things around them. But I'm like, they didn't create this stuff. They didn't make this. They weren't the ones that created the internet or Fortnite or, whatever they're doing. Like, they're just playing it because they have access to it because the adults around them gave them access. So I don't think it's fair that kids get blamed for these things. I think that they need to be taught healthy ways to navigate the world and how to have a balance in that. But I just hear more bashing and more, that generation is so awful. They're really not. They're just a product of their environments. And right now the environments are full of tech. My children are on technology all day. I have a 1-year-old and a 5-year-old. It is what it is at this point. We're in a pandemic, but I can't fault them for that. I can't get mad at them for that. Like, I gave it to them. They have access to it because of us. So if I want to change that, I need to change that, but I can't yell at them. I can't tell them that they're bad kids. I can't, say their generation is awful because of it. So I think that kids just get a bad rep for things that aren't even in their control.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I cannot hold any of that against you because I have a child exactly like that, like I just mentioned. For the listeners, can you tell me exactly if they wanted to know more about this Sōmōcom Lab, where would they be able to have, get more information about it and how they're able to reach out to you?
Yeah, so they can go to SōmōcomLab.com. It's SOMOCOM Lab.com, or find me on social media at Sōmōcom Lab on Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram. And they can find out more about the game. They can find out more about me. They can, message me. They can get the game if they want to. I also have a mother who has a 3.5-year-old son who's been using it. He has autism, and she absolutely loves it. They use it almost every day because she's been teaching him more words and more about his emotions. And he has his moments, but she said that it's just been so helpful. It's one of her most favorite tools that she has. She considers it like their map to figure out, and problem solve whenever they need it. So definitely, that's what I'm hoping to do for other families, for sure.
Oh, yeah. And yeah, I'm so glad to have you on here because I want to boost this for sure. Like I said, I want this in every household that has a child. I mean, even if for any adult who is interested in playing this is very beneficial as a well-roundedness for our society. So I am so honored to have you as a guest, Chelsea, to have this opportunity to learn more about the Sōmōcom Lab. And this has been wonderful. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me. It's really an honor to be on here with you and your amazingness.
Yes, thank you. It looks like she calmed down after a while. I think if I was talking to
my husband got them.
Oh, good.
And he closed the door.
Yes. Yes. Did I miss anything that you'd like to also share to the listeners?
My goal and my mission is to give kids a voice by helping them articulate how they're feeling and manage those feelings in a healthy way, so that if they're having any, if they're feeling strongly about something, the message doesn't get lost in their behavior. It's found in their voice. And I'm hoping to help other adults see that children's voices matter, that they are meaningful, and that they're necessary, so that they can grow up to be emotionally intelligent adults who can articulate how they're feeling in situations that do not serve them, and that they're not taken advantage of and mistreated because they weren't taught how to advocate for themselves when they were younger. So it starts in infancy, it starts in the womb, but it's never too late to teach them these things. So that's my hope for the future. That's my hope for all families, all households, all parents and teachers, and anyone that works with children or has children that they love in their lives. So that's me.
Yes. Oh, and one last thing. Is it in different languages, or is it currently in just English, or how's?
Right now it's in English, but I am going to be reaching out to some translators to see if I can get it translated. I have been asked multiple times for French for Canadians, and there are people all over the country, or not even the country, people internationally that are really excited to get the game as well. So I'm going to see what languages I can work this in and see where it goes.
Absolutely. I'm going to go ahead and put some information in the show notes. So well, have a wonderful weekend. Enjoy your family and husband and beautiful children. Thank you. We will talk soon and we'll stay in touch.
Yes, for sure. Thank you. See you. Bye.
Bye. Thank you for listening to Noise Paloo Zion podcast. If you yourself is a small business owner, entrepreneur, musician, or artist, or liked what you heard, please share and follow. I am on Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube, or contact me at www.jasminecastillovoice.com. and stay tuned for the next upcoming episode.